Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Morning Forum. I am Gary Young, one of your facilitators, along with facilitators Ms. Laura McCletty, Ms. Carlina Ivory Canty, Ms. Jackie Evers Walton, Ms. Nathalie McElrath, Mr. Winston Robinson, Mr. Steve Johnston, Mr. Shea Abdullah, and what's Brian? I don't see Brian. Okay. Excellent. Well, our forum runs from 8:30 to 10 a.m. At 9:45, we will pause for announcements from the audience. Announcements can be sent to Steve at sjohnston@tuesdayforumcharlotte.org. Now, we always begin our mornings with a prayer. Good, Pastor. They say you pray in public.
I do. You almost said, Pastor, I was going to walk out. And make sure I wasn't on prayer block, so I guess I'm good. In all seriousness, Lord God, thank you so much for today and giving all of us a chance to see today. Thank you for this forum, Lord. We ask that your spirit will continue to bless us. So be a great, great impact on the city that it already is and continue to be. Bless each and every one of us here in this room and those listening and watching online with your love, your prosperity, your wisdom. We thank you for the day. May we all be inspired by what we see and hear. In the name of Christ the Lord, Yeshua, I pray, amen.
Amen. You.
That's the name.
Do we have anybody here for the first time this morning? Give an opportunity to we give everyone that's the first time an opportunity to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Andrea Armentaris. I'm an intern at Habitat for Humanity, and this is my first time being here. Thank you.
Everybody else does look familiar. All right, so I didn't see anybody else. No, everybody. All right. We do like to take what we call a moment of silence, where everyone silences your phones and or your watches. So we do say devices. All right. Our guest today is from the immaculate West Boulevard corridor. All right. Being that we have a number of individuals up here today, I'm going to give you all the opportunity to introduce yourself before we get into the flow of this conversation. So take 2 minutes to kind of introduce yourself, what organization you with, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
2 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. 2 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Rashida Sanders, and I have the privilege of representing the West and Wilkinson Merchant Association. We are a new 501c6 organization, and our goal is to help with economic development in the West and Wilkinson corridor. I do have a business on West Boulevard. My law firm, the Sanders Law Firm, is located on West Boulevard near Billy Graham Parkway. And one of the reasons why I chose the Westside to open up a business is because I wanted a different type of business. I believe that your income shouldn't determine your outcome. And I wanted to provide an opportunity for all individuals to have access to legal representation. So thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here, and I look forward to kind of growing together. Thank you.
My name is Janiqua Jackson. I'm the general manager of Three Sisters Market. It's a community-owned grocery store coming to West Boulevard in Clanton. We have been in movement and continue to be in movement for a few years now. But I have been here for 2 years in motion trying to get the project to progress. So happy to be here, and thanks for having us.
Good morning, family. My name is Brenda Campbell, and I sit here today as the chair of the West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition. And I just tell you, I'm a native Charlottean, and I looked over there at Mr. Moore, Thomas Moore, because I'm in the child care field, and thank you for what you do, right? So I just want to say thank you for this opportunity.
Good morning, my name is Dr. Elliott Royal. I'm the Executive Director at the West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition. I have been a volunteer to board member to interim Executive Director to Executive Director, so I'm thrilled to be able to serve this corridor and really excited about the progress that we're making in Charlotte, in particular our West communities.
Good morning, my name is Anana Maldonado. I am a lead at the Seeds for Change program. This is my third year doing this. I really enjoy it because we're helping provide fresh and healthy foods for people on West Boulevard, and they haven't had that for at least 35 years or so. So I like being a part of the change in the community. And thank y'all for having me.
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Amber Glover, and I'm also one of the leads at Seeds for Change. I've been there also for 3 years. So I'm going to 12th grade this year, and I go to Charlotte Lab School. And at Seeds for Change, I've met a lot of people that connected me to our community. I grew up on the West Side, but there's not a lot of grocery stores and like places where you can get fresh food, like farmers markets and such. So also they provided me a job for the summer.
So the West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition began organizing in the late 70s, early 80s, and became a 501c3 in 2007. Like our youth have mentioned, that corridor has been without a grocery store for over 36 years, but other amenities have that community has gone without and same. What we strive ourselves on is making sure that we become a collective community voice. There are 19 neighborhoods in our geography. West Boulevard actually starts at Tryon, where the Bojangles is. It goes all the way up past Billy Graham. And so what we really want to do is pay homage to all of the residents that have lived there before us, the residents that live there now, and the residents that we want to make sure that we don't displace. Some of our big priorities are community advocacy, outreach and engagement. We participate in several big events around the corridor. We lead to National Night Out is coming up on August 4th, so we would love for y'all to come out to our National Night Out and Aubrey Glen Outreach. We have one of the biggest in the cities with nearly 600 to 700 residents to come out that we provide free meals to, and have almost 70 resource vendors that are there at that event. Another one we do is Legacy Fest, which is like our birthday. It's an opportunity for us to highlight small businesses and merchants on our corridor, and also to highlight different programming and entertainment. Legacy Fest is like our birthday. That occurs at 2901 Revere Beard Drive, which is right at the corner of Clinton and West. In addition to that, as we've been growing, food advocacy is something that's really big. So that started with phase 1 of us addressing food access with the Seeds for Change program. Like these young ladies mentioned, we employ youth 14 to 17 and give them a paid stipend to work with us every summer during 8 weeks. It's not a camp. It's a job, a hard labor job. I think that they both would agree to saying as well. And they provide fresh, healthy, culturally appropriate food for our community. So currently right now you can come by and get green tomatoes, red tomatoes, blackberries, okra, picked right off the stem. And we just really want to make sure that our residents have access to healthy food options until Three Sisters Market is open. Three Sisters Market will be a food co-op. Co-op means cooperative in terms of co-ownership between member owners. Anybody can be a member owner of that grocery store, and that's something that research said was going to be beneficial for our community to preserve the pride and legacy of the residents that are there. And then when we think about our Merchants Association, if you drive up West Boulevard, there are not many franchises. You see a Family Dollar, a Boost Mobile, and some gas stations. Outside of that, that corridor has continuously been supported by small business merchants. So we want to make sure that they have the technical assistance that they need to make sure that they're able to stay in place, and most importantly, they aren't displaced, that we know as they're going around, not just communities in Charlotte, but other brown and black communities around this country.
Just want to share with you the Three Sisters Market, yes, for our three sisters, which would be Lucille McNeil, Dorothy Waddy, and Miss Amy James. And so that's what we came up with that name, supporting our ancestors.
So I think ultimately what you hear is not only preservation of the community of West Boulevard, but also to continue to progress it. Three Sisters Market is not only a grocery store, but the model of a cooperative invites a lot of other things. The incubation and the continued forward movement or economic mobility of West Boulevard is the basis of what we're trying to do. We teach, so democratically, we're moving. So this isn't a one-person show. We want the whole community of West Boulevard, the whole community of Charlotte to be on this journey with us, because holding your hands together has been proven to work better than to work alone. And so what you will ultimately hear is, this is a fight. It's a fight for food insecurity. We've been dealing in a food desert for a very long time, and we have had to find a solution, which is Three Sisters Market, to be able to provide the access that we need. So there are stores there. There have been stores there. But when we talk about health and wealth, there's some fresh food that needs to be incorporated into our diets, and that's what we'll be here for.
And the goal here is to build wealth along the West Boulevard corridor and for the dollars to stay in the community, something that has never happened. So as we talk about this initiative, it is again to help the community. If you haven't lived there, you don't know what we go through. So the West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition is the catalyst for everyone that's on the West Boulevard corridor.
Something I think that's really important is that we have a housing crisis that's occurring in Charlotte, and West Boulevard is not, we're not a unique place in terms of the apartments that are popping up and the townhomes. The difference is that we talk about affordability. We have an average median household income under $60,000. And that's been the reason why the grocery stores haven't come, right? That's been the reason why our community is so easily displaced, is because the median income in our community has been substantially the same over decades. So when these apartments are coming in saying that they're $500,000, who's supposed to move over there to a condo? We have pressing needs that are pressing up against us from the River District. The airport is on its fourth runway, but we know 5th and 6th are coming. I-77, we were able to push back. How long will we be able to keep pushing back against all these receding civic projects that are going to be done to us and not with us? On the other side of us, on Wilkinson Road, the I-70, the Silver Line is coming. You know, we're having conversations with CATS about trying to make sure that we have stops at Ashley and Berry Hill and Remount. And those stops are even being questioned and being eliminated. So part of what we want to do is not be the only voice, but be a commanding voice to work with our neighbors to make sure that we're going to these city, county meetings and advocating for what they need. Because what we know, if it's not for us, it's done to us. And we want to make sure that everything that's done in West Boulevard is by us.
So one of the things that I wanted to say, when you look at this panel, you see community. So the Merchant Association was spawned out of the Neighborhood Coalition because they saw a need. If you've been on the West Side, if you've been in that corridor, you see that it is rapidly changing, and change is coming. Whether or not you're a part of that change is up to us. So one of the things that the Merchant Association we're attempting to do, anti-displacement, is at the top of our priority list. Economic development is one of the major issues in the city, and we want to make sure that the small businesses on the corridor, that they are prepared to take advantage of opportunities that present themselves, because by the time opportunity comes, it is too late to get ready. We need to be ready now as merchants, as small businesses. So one of the things that the Merchant Association does is that we provide training to make sure that our small businesses have what they need. We just completed a Synergy 360 workshop, which is a very small, which is a training session that we provided different training. We had professionals that come in and our small businesses, are you in legal compliance? Do you have your finances ready? Here's what you have to do in order to do business with the city. And we have one more workshop that makes sure that your standard operator procedures are in place. because you have to be ready for growth. So one of the things that the Merchant Association is doing is, number one, finding out what the needs are from a small business perspective and meeting those needs so that they can be a part of the growth, because the anti-displacement is very important. We want the corridor to remain with the diversity that it currently has.
And as we've been moving forward, we just got through with an assembly of power of the people where we had over 100 people to come together. It took us about 8 weeks to gather these people up on a one-on-one, just finding out, how do you belong in West Boulevard, right? And they told us the same thing when we gathered these people together, that we talking about the same thing we're talking about here, housing, affordable housing. We're talking about a grocery store that we've been without, right? And youth programs for the youth. So our people, we're advocating for the people on the West Boulevard corridor. And as you see that, that's what we're here for, is to advocate. We're the voice for the voices. We're a voice and not an echo for West Boulevard.
So I want to ask some of our programs some questions while we're up here so that you can learn a little bit more. Starting with our youth. What brings y'all back after 3 years? What makes you, what do you look forward to being a part of Seeds for Change?
I keep coming back because I like the cause. Like, I like what we do this for. I like meeting new people. I like meeting the people that I plan to work with. I never know what opportunity I could have from working here. And even though I have been here for 3 years, like, it's definitely one of my favorite parts of the summer. I know it may sound a little weird. Oh, my favorite part is being outside and being hot and picking collard greens, whatever the case may be. I like to come back to a lot of the people that, like, be there. Like, I've been there for 3 years, but I know a lot of our customers who come there and keep coming there because they're like, dang, I know in the summertime they gonna have these colors that I want. They gonna have the okra that I'm looking for. I really do enjoy meeting the people there and getting to know new people. We'll also get to know the people up here, over here. I love these people. I'm here with them for a little minute. I genuinely do have a soft spot for these people and what we do this for. I'm ready to see the co-op. I'm ready to see the market. I'm excited. Like, I love this.
For me, it would be the opportunities that we have, learning. We have a classroom part, so once a week we go and we learn about like agribusiness, and it's just fun to be with your friends and learn. We do fun projects and things that we have fun outside too, in the garden.
Thank y'all. Another question for you. What's currently in season? Tell everyone about your farmers market stand options. What could they come by and purchase from y'all?
If you want to come by, we have collard greens, we have okra, we have mint, we got basil, we got green tomatoes, we got jalapenos, we got 3 different peppers, 3 different bell peppers. Yeah.
You said, I think, did you mention squash? Squash, okra. We have basil out there. We have mint, corn. We're doing like this corn bean bed. It's different. It's all in the same like growth. Yeah.
So wait, pause there. So they're growing the 3 sisters too. So that's corn, beans, and squash, right? So there's a demonstration area. So if we go back to indigenous practices, these were companion planting. So these 3 items were grown together. Corn provided like a trellis for the beans to crawl up, and the squash would grow along the bottom, protecting the soil from heat and pests and things like that. So there's a demonstration area over there. What else is back there past the demonstration area?
There's bees, and we have our own honey that the bees make. And also we have a greenhouse, and what's in there? Like watermelons, I think, is in there, okra, and there's green beans in there as well.
Yes. And you have, what do we do with our waste up at the corner at the back of the bees?
And we also have a compost bin where we put our own waste.
So we are practicing this 3 sisters companion, not just in name, but also in who we are, right? We are even, all these words start with a collective, cooperative, companions, community. There's something about a group of us together. And when you are together and you all have the same purpose, there's so much you can do. What's unique about the bees is that this year we've been able to increase from 2 hives to 6. And we actually have a bee kind of Facebook page that you all can actually follow once you become part of our newsletter. And you can come out to our farm and actually come for sessions with our beekeeper. So his schedule is on the side, so you can come out there specifically and learn about bees, and we'll have different bee engagement programs. Because what we do know is culturally as Black people, what do? We run from bees. Right, we swipe them away, right? Currently, there's a bee apocalypse that's happening, so we need to make sure that we preserve as many native bees as possible, because our food tastes good because of bees. So we're literally teaching our youth the importance of that. If we're able to get them at 14 and 17 and not be scared of bees, we have future beekeepers over here, right? Mecklenburg County has one of the biggest bee societies, and that's part of what we want to make sure is that our youth are aware of the whole living cycle of how their food gets to their plate and how it's grown, and just pride in it. I'm gonna shout out one other youth that is not here, but I remember that he came up to me and said, you know, thank you for this program, and it was very random. And he said, because now I know my community isn't as bad as they say it is. Right? We need to pay attention to the words that we pour into our communities and what we say out loud, that we need to talk more about the assets that are here in our youth, in the hills that Mr. Ricky Hall always talks about driving down in West Boulevard. These communities are beautiful, and that's why displacement is occurring. People want proximity to the airport. They want proximity to uptown. They want sidewalks and tree canopies and single family homes being built by brick. So instead of talking about all of the things our community doesn't have, we need to speak positivity into it, because that's what somebody else is doing when they decide to move to our neighborhoods. Bringing questions this way. Ms. Jackson, when we're thinking about Three Sisters, what is unique about a co-op in terms of shopping there once the store is open?
Well, I think the very first thing that I can say is that we're very, very intentional about what we're putting in the store. This whole movement is about making sure, well, let me say this, people over profit is our focus. When we open this co-op is meant to change those social determinants of health that are currently plaguing West Boulevard. And so what will be unique is when you walk into the store, you should see health. You should see those things that you won't traditionally see. And we're asking that you ask questions. Talk to us, let us talk to you. There'll be loads of folks on the floor to be available to help. But I know that that's the very first difference that I know folks will see when they walk into the store.
When we talk co-op principles and values, what are some that stick out that you see in other communities like ours?
The very first one I'm gonna say, and let me preface this. So I'm not originally from Charlotte, but this is my second time being in Charlotte. Very, very grateful because West Boulevard in particular have opened their arms and made me feel like family. I've traveled over the states. I've traveled in 7 states, but I've been in grocery for 30 years. Traveling over the states, I have seen the same thing happening in communities all over the country. And the communities usually look like us. And so when we talk about this co-op, when we talk about what the co-op brings, what it means, all of those things connected together, this is, for me, freedom. This is how we accelerate freedom. This is how we continue to not see those glass doors that we've talked about over the years. And so when you talk about co-op and what it's going to bring, this should be a template of what we use across the country to make sure that our communities have the resources that we need. Food is simple. Food is the simple talk. But the bigger talk is what other resources? We've seen here, Community Garden, Merchants Association, West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition has had to go out and fight for those things on their own. And so when you talk about principles and our values, resiliency is the first one and the only one that I can think of, because for over 20 years we've been fighting, and you see the impact of the fight here.
When co-ops talk about member owners, are those the only people who can shop in it? What is a member owner and why are those important in this structure?
Yeah, so everybody is welcome to shop, and we want everybody to shop at Three Sisters Market. The specific word member owner has two things in it. It has member and owner. You will actually, once you join, you will actually be an owner of this business. And so when we talk about teaching, this is equity building. When we talk about putting value back into your communities and preserving your communities, this is one of the ways that you have to do it. You have got to build equity in your community so that when, and I'm gonna say the bad word, gentrification comes and development comes, you are able to hold on and somebody isn't able to easily swipe your property or devalue the community in which we all are working hard to preserve.
How many member owners do you have to date, and does that end when the store is open, or how does this member ownership continue?
So today, as we sit here, we celebrate over 600 member owners. That member ownership will never close. This is something that we want to continue moving. As we sit here today, all of us probably got our shopping and eating habits from either our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents. It's generational. And we want to do the same thing with the co-op. We don't want it to stop with this year. We want everybody's children, their grandchildren to get member ownerships as well, and for this movement to continue to grow.
Thank you. West and Wilkinson Merchants Association. Are Merchants Association new to this area? Is that a new concept? Why is this something that should be important, that we should be seeing in other corridors around the city?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to say I am a member owner of Three Sisters Market. If you all are not, please go out and be a part of that wonderful change. It's, I'm not a native Charlottean, but I call Charlotte my home. I've been here for over 20 years. My husband grew up on Clanton Road, and I just always remember traveling West Boulevard and wondering why there wasn't grocery store. Why don't people have access to fresh fruits and vegetables? And some of the grocery stores would say, because there's not enough traffic. And there was a traffic study that shows that West Boulevard is one of the most heavily traveled streets in Charlotte. But sometimes we have to do things ourselves. So I applaud the group for those who have found that need and who are taking charge to kind of meet that need and fill that gap that is so very important. But so just wanted to say that I'm proud to be a member owner. Merchant associations, do you all know that there are several merchant associations in Charlotte? Unfortunately, we didn't have one. Merchant associations are also known as business development organizations, and because economic mobility is so important here in Charlotte, our corridor was being left out. So that's why it was important for West and Wilkinson to have a merchant association. A lot of times city officials and federal funding, they look for points of contact, and they look for merchant associations to provide information, and part of our job as a merchant association is to get the information out. So I've always been a small business owner, been blessed to do that, know a lot of people in corporate, and when I talk to them, they're in a meeting about the meeting. And I always say, well, how do you get any work done if you're always meeting? But as the board chair of the Merchant Association, that's how you find out information. That is part of the advocacy piece that we play. We provide. So we have our whole board. Jay Hill right here, he's also on the board for the Merchant Association. We do a lot of meetings because we want the city to know that we are here, and we want to disseminate that information to the merchants in West and Wilkinson Boulevard. So As Elliot spoke, she said that you see your Bojangles, you see your gas stations and a few other franchise, your Walmarts, but did you all know that there are almost 700 small businesses in our corridor or in the West Corridor? I didn't know that. And we provide an array of services. So part of our job is to make sure that you know that there is probably a lot of what you need right in your community. So that is one of the things that we're doing, is making sure that we reach out to all these businesses so that we can stay connected. Our signature event is in October, and it's called the Built to Last event. What that event is about, I know you all, everybody has heard about the massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, and we all hear how, that community was bombed and the people were killed and it was burned to the ground. That's something that is common knowledge, but what a lot of people don't know is those people in Oklahoma, they rebuilt their city. They made sure that they had everything that they needed right in their community. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we have what we need in our community, just like other communities. They call them live, work, and play. We want to make sure that you're able to live, work, and play in our corridor on the west side. So please mark your calendars for that event. It's on October the 21st, and we're going to have someone come from Black Wall Street, from the Tulsa area, to talk about how they did it, what was important, what can we do to make sure that we last? Because guess what? Change is coming. We have to be a part of it, and we want to make sure that our ancestors, the legacy that has been built on the west side, that it lasts. We are built to last. So I know that was a long. I'm just so.
That was good.
Answer.
And we actually are intending that week that Rashida was talking about, the week of October 19th, we actually intend to have several events occurring in West Boulevard. So stay tuned for all the events that we have that week. Janiqua, I want to ask a question before we let it open up for questions from the audience. Three Sisters, where is it being built on West Boulevard? How much is it costing us? And like everybody wants to know, when does it get here?
It jumped me right in there, didn't it?
Yeah, okay. This will come from one of them.
So Three Sisters Market is scheduled to be on West Boulevard in Clanton. It's catty corner to JT's Market. It's directly across the street from the third hole at the golf course. And we are also directly across the street from West Boulevard Library on Romeo Bearden. The community garden, Seeds for Change, is already there. So there's a big old plot of land that has the garden on it. Our store will be up in the corner where you see the trees there. So hopefully that gives a little bit more visual. I'm trying not to get the last question first. So what was the second question again?
Where is it going to be located? Yeah.
Say that
And
one.
then when's it get? How much is this costing? When does it get here?
Great. So our goal to fully build and operate to open the doors is $15 million goal. As of right now, we're well on our way. And I'm going to answer the last question. We're doing everything at this moment to continue progressing the project. Construction is a big thing. Being able to bring this model so that it's sustainable for this community is a big thing. And so we're doing everything at this moment to continue progressing the project.
We have designs in with the city, and if anybody has built anything, permitting is a time, especially with UDOs and things changing. So we do have our land permit, I think was the first one, and building is next. So those decisions in terms of opening is between us and the city. So if anybody wants to give them a call and push things back further, or if anybody has, you know, a couple $1 million in their pocket, meet me in the parking lot. I'd love to get that from you too. But like Janika said, please make sure that you stay tuned by joining any of our newsletters for updates. But when I say that the project is closer to fruition today than it was yesterday, we mean that. And we also know that when you have big projects like this with the community, sometimes you want us to tell y'all explicit numbers, and that gets really sticky because as soon as we call out a number here, you'll hold it against me for the next 90 to 120 days. But what I tell you this is that you have to be very far along with your project to have permits to be pulled down. And once those permits can be pulled down, you're really getting into action. There's environmental things, and you know, the weather here in North Carolina is unique. We have really unique species and things like that too. So our window of time for construction is based off of several moving factors. But when I tell you that we're getting really close, I can't wait to come back here within the next 18 months and tell y'all to come to a grand opening. At that point, thank you. Thank you. And I want something else that I'll say about funding. When we hear about these capital campaigns of multi-million dollars and stuff like that, we don't often have government support that comes in quickly. What was unique about this project is that the city, the county, and our very own Congresswoman Alma Adams were some of the first 1, 2, 3 contributors to this project. And when we start going around the country and talking about other food co-op projects, they're like, how did y'all get the government involved? Our government won't even answer our phone, and that's still some people's cases. So to have our county and city support, I think is tremendous. I love more support from them too, wherever they are. But, you know, we are really working very diligently to bring this to fruition. And thank y'all for your support. And what you can do is become a member owner. So I want to turn it over to any questions that y'all might have or anything y'all want us to expand on. We thoroughly appreciate y'all's engagement.
Open it up for questions as always. First question, Mr. Coombs.
Explain the rules first, please.
Well, yeah, we definitely need to explain the rules. You get 30 seconds for your question. And then
You
get 30
haven't
seconds.
started yet, has it? Because he's taking up.
I know. I don't make the rules.
I actually have 4 questions, but I'm just gonna follow the rules and do one.
30 seconds for the question, 1 minute for the answer. When you
You
see
talk
30
about
seconds,
being left
what you
out,
got?
and they don't come to you. And as I understood marketing and advertising strategies, you gotta go to them. And so I'd just be interested in what your marketing and PR and advertising strategy is, such as joining economic and business development organizations and pushing with them your agenda and your message.
Hi, I can answer that. So it's very unique. We have different, in our corridor, we have different consumers, different types of business owners. So not only do we have traditional marketing and outreach efforts, but we also, it's called boots on the ground. Sometimes you have to go out, you have to meet people. Sometimes in our community, you have to show them who you are. We're here for you. So our marketing efforts include both, not only traditional marketing efforts, but also boots on the ground.
When you were, can you expand on what you were talking about?
Well, for instance, Mike, they have to come back to me.
That's the rules.
Okay, well, we want them to come back to you.
Hey, good morning. So my question is, with our food system being so compromised by big business, how can you ensure the products in the store are not like Monsanto or Peel? Like, because I remember when these companies started grassroots, like Tom's and Dr. Bonner's, and now big business has taken over. So the ingredients are compromised. It's just, you know, Whole Foods is a facade now because it's just like paracetamol. So how will you make sure that the foods and your products are just,
Thank you. So thank you for that, and thank you for your knowledge about and understanding about what's happening, because that's true. And so one of the things about Three Sisters Market is we focus on local. It is
I will be, and I'm gonna speak this personally, I'm very intentional about who my vendors are, who my producers are. One of the things that we're focused on is our local farmers here in North Carolina, and making sure that they have space. And in those ways, I can go out and visit the farm and see what they're doing there and understand if they're abiding by rules to be able to be in the store. The other thing is we have it's a co-op, cooperation of co-ops. And in that way, we have buying power between co-ops. We source from folks that utilize clean ingredients, and I'm trying not to generalize this as much as I possibly can. But in those ways, considerations are taken into account. But I can almost guarantee you that I'll know everything that's in that store, and I'll either use clean conventional because it's hard to balance both affordability and clean eating, and that's the struggle that I'll have in the store. But there are ways to get around that. What I would ask is grace from the community as we open. Patronage will help me, keep the affordability on the shelves, but I need for folks to shop. And that's how I keep those prices lower. But there is ways to do that.
Will you tell them how big the store is? Because I don't think we even talked about that.
Sure, yes. This store is going to be 12,000 square feet in total, and that's just the retail fee. The total square feet of the entire floor is about 14,000, but that's including a teaching kitchen and also a work hub. And so both of those will be added onto the store as resources as well, because both of those are hard to find on West Boulevard. But the actual shopping area will be 12,000 square feet, with 10,000 of that being the retail shopping area. So similar to some of your smaller Whole Foods or your, the Fresh Market.
Well, it's my turn anyway. I have a question. So, to the point of community involvement as well as business development, what does community benefits look like to the people who live in along the West Boulevard corridor? As you mentioned, development is coming in left and right for the airport, the Wilson line. So, when those meetings happen, and it's just not a big blanketed, we're bringing this many jobs here, how do specific community benefits align with who exists in communities today, and what would you like to have from that?
So one of the things, when we just organized the Merchant Association, we just received our IRS approval in January, so we are a very young organization. Prior to, our initial formation, there were funds that were designated for corridors of opportunity. So one of the things that the Merchant Association through WBNC did was to make sure that, number one, we were aware of different grant fundings and things like that, and number two, we were in position to be able to apply to get that money. So there were a lot of businesses that were able to take advantage of city dollars that were specifically designated for 5 corridors. We were one of them. So there is a new round of money that is coming to, there's a new round of money that's coming as well. We haven't found out exactly how that will be disseminated, but once we have that information, we'll make sure that is dispersed, the information is dispersed to our small business owners. But another thing that we want to do is just not to give a people a fish. So grant dollars are very important, but that's like giving someone a fish. We're also going to be teaching them how to fish by making sure that we have these workshops in place to help businesses grow, to help businesses scale.
When we have a lot of conversations in terms of rezoning that occurs, so we become a fairly big voice about rezoning projects and having conversations with developers about what they want to pour back into this community in terms of community benefits. And even when the city is coming to us, we want to make sure that we have a voice in the conversation. When we were talking about I-77 community benefits, participating in those community engagement conversations, making sure our residents know about it too, because we don't want to be the only voice. We want to make sure that we are able to to dispel information to our community so that they can come and participate in their democratic member control as a resident in this county. Community benefits is something that I believe is still being explored and has not fully been executed to its best in this city, and I think the community has to hold the municipal parties and developers to what they agree on, because right now it's just word talk, but once the buildings go up, they're not coming back to fulfill those checks they wrote. So I think we all have to advocate more and hold them accountable to it.
Good morning. I want to say, I really have a comment. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. I had an opportunity to serve on city council for about 6 months, and everything, when we tried to get things like this in the community off of the Bates Ford Road area or in proximity, it was the feasibility study doesn't say that this is warranted. But yet we, as people in that area, get in our car and go to the Publix and go to the Harris Teeters. So for continuing to fight for something for your community. And not only, Ken has a very valid point. His point was the marketing of this. So it's obvious you're doing it with 600 already. There's a lot more. But it's gonna take not only the West Boulevard, but the other parts of the city in here to make sure, because we, the people, are the ones who are gonna make this successful. So you need to continue to come and let us know what we can do. And then I wanna say thank you to each of you up there, but also thank you to someone who's been fighting this fight for a long time. And Rick, where is it? Where's my baby?
Oh,
okay. Right, that's good. So thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate that, and we will make sure that we always give our flyers to other corridors and also as many flyers as possible to Mr. Ricky Hall. And we continue to let them continue to name us and segment us as a corridors opportunity or whatever other buzzword it is, we keep forgetting that all of us deserve better as our human rights. You have to get back to humanity and kindness. Your zip code should not determine your proximity to healthy food, but we know that your zip code determines so much in this city. And in terms of marketing, you know, we have some mailers going out. Word of mouth is one of our biggest champions too. When you become a member owner, ask the next person if they want to become a member owner, and we try to make it feasible financially for people to be a part of this journey with us. Member ownership is a one-time payment of $100. A one-time payment of $100. We even offer a payment plan. We can break that down into 4, all right? You also can pay it forward if you feel that you want to purchase a sponsored membership for a resident within our corridor. So we will be sharing almost 80 memberships as of right now that are sponsored to community members. So it's gonna take all of us, so tell a person and bring them to the next meeting here so they can learn about the next thing that we need to do together.
And hold those government municipalities, hold them to their word, because they don't always keep their word.
Good morning. My name is Faith Triggs. I'm actually a member of the YMCA there on Stratford Y. Can you reiterate the nexus of all of the pieces of the quarter? So all of your flagship pieces, and then expand that to the impact of the new library by the Y.
Yes. So let's take a trip up West Boulevard. So we're starting at the Bojangles on Tryon. As we're going up West Boulevard, we're gonna pass Wilmore on our right. We're gonna go underneath the underpass. You're gonna see the old, I think it was the Rock Church on the corner. I think it's Vision now. You're gonna come down in your first intersection you're gonna meet is Remount with the City West Commons, the old Golden Walk, right at that corner. As you go down the hill, you're gonna go across Dr. Carver, and to your right before you get to the Stratford Richardson YMCA, there is a forestry area. That is where the new library is going. So the new library will be directly next to the Stratford Richardson YMCA. When you get to the next light, we're at Clayton and Donald Ross Road, and that's where the Three Sisters Market Food Cooperative is going to be located. So right there, we kind of create a health equity campus. Okay, so we have our YMCA, our atrium, and our new libraries coming. So you just found out from your atrium checkup that your A1C is getting a little out of control, right? So they say the sugars is coming, all right? So now before we know it, you need to go to, now before you know it, they're telling you that you need some water aerobics for the pressure on your knees. So you're going to get your membership at the Stratford Richardson YMCA, and you're starting to go on the water aerobics. And now, for the first time in over 36 years, directly across the street is the Three Sisters Market Food Co-op, where you're able to get some healthy, fresh produce. You're even able to go to a seedling class that the Seeds for Change you for putting on so that you can take a tomato plant home with you. And then before you know it, the library's right there. You done picked up a cookbook on the corner of their capstone for Diabetes Awareness Month, and now you can actually cook, eat, and have physical activity that meets your needs all in one place. Our residents deserve that. It does not just need to happen off of Wendover, Valentine, and all over this city. We know that this project will change the trajectory of public health in this corridor, and we can't wait to be the data collectors and own our own data around that.
Good morning, my name is Jasmine. I'm a community organizer here in Charlotte, across the state of North Carolina. I have several questions for all of y'all. I know I can, but like King here, I know I can only ask questions my way. And then y'all probably gonna hear from me after this for sure. But why isn't there, and thinking particularly about the Black corridors, why isn't there a Three Sisters Market or a West Wilkinson Merchant Association in every Black corridor? And what does it look like to replicate it? Not necessarily just in the corridors. I'm a Cabarrus County resident. We were talking about doing a co-op too, but what's the we don't know the process. So what does it look like to replicate it?
I was glad to put. We can definitely talk a little later. I'll try to keep this as short as I possibly can, but there is a process. The biggest thing is the organizing portion of it. You have to organize your community to be ready to be able to hold a Three Sisters Market. When we're talking about a grocery store, and that's just the basis of it, the grocery store has to sustain over years. And generally, when you're speaking about grocery, that's what they're playing into context when you hear about ROI or average medium household income. Those all play into role when you're talking about sustainability of that market. And so the organizing portion, the marketing portion, that generally takes a long time to be able to garner all of the trust that you need from this and the loyalty that you need from the community to push this market forward. And so the reason why you don't see a lot of co-ops is, I could say this a couple of ways, but it takes resilience over the years with no money, no staff, no any volunteer hours and all of those things to continue moving that forward. A lot of closed doors, a lot of people telling you no, telling you you can't do it, all of those things, and you have to fight through all of that. And that's what you see from West Boulevard West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition, Ricky Hall, Brenda Campbell. These folks have been on this project for over 20 years and trying to push it here. And now just today, we're talking about it. So it takes a lot. The other thing that you'll have is the municipalities and all, because this model is not common, they will always tell you that it's not feasible. But again, you have a model here that has been worked to make it feasible so that this community has what it needs. And so I'll just stop there, but we can definitely talk later.
Okay, my answer is gonna be really quick. Investment. Like-minded people who are willing to invest in your community. The Merchant Association, it's a lot of volunteer hours, but it's working towards a common goal. WBNC, they started in 2017, correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, they started meetings even before that.
Established, but now they have an executive director. That was almost 10 years. For our Merchant Association, we see that where we're able to have someone who can commit full time to the work of the Merchant Association. But right now, we're invested in our community, and what we do is volunteer, organize, and just do it. You can do it.
Sir, my title is community organizer.
Good. All right, we have Kayla, Ken, and then, Kayla, Tina, then Orlando. Rob, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Question for you is, with society changing the way it has, and so many people not going to grocery stores, and if I want to get some of those green beans and those collard greens and that okra that you're talking about, is there a way to do that now through maybe an Instacart or some variation of that? Or do we have to come into the building right now?
So, yeah, so right now, you gotta come over to our little farm. Our youth are there Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 9 to 12. You stop by anytime and you'll place your order and they'll go right over there and get it. So I'll say that for the right now. In terms of delivery services, tag.
So for the market, I will build out e-commerce service. So we'll have delivery and those things available.
Yeah, fill up that bag too. You go at the right time. You keep we have Kayla and Tina. We got on the list. We got you on the list. I know. Everybody excited. West Boulevard in the house.
Hi everybody. I'm not too familiar with farmers markets, but I hear you guys speaking about like affordable. With that, my question is, you guys accept EBT either at the farmers market or at the grocery store that's coming?
Yes, so we will take, we have our FNS number, we're waiting on our machine, but we will take EBT at the farmer's market stand. And something that I think is a good question is that this is not just a farmer's market stand for youth, they actually pick their prices and stuff. Talk to them a little bit more about how y'all run your own farmer's market stand, because I think that's part of the unique agro-business experience that they get.
The way that we set our prices are based off of how much we think that they're like valued and affordable to everybody else. Like in grocery stores and Walmarts, whatever, you see a pound of collard greens that's like $5. And I'm not saying that their foods are unhealthy or whatever the case may be, but ours are freshly picked. And so we charge less than that because we know that our community comes to us to try to get more foods that are more affordable for the people. So that's how we choose our prices.
And it also has to do with like the quality of the product, because what's different from us than like grocery stores, we don't use pesticides or anything like that. So you want to get what you pay for.
Tina.
Regarding the co-op, back in the olden days, I remember it was a yearly fee. Everybody paid a yearly fee, and or if you couldn't afford the fee, you could do 8 hours a month. Are you gonna offer something like that, or is this, I just became a member, I mean.
Thank you.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yeah.
So, and I like to preface with the understanding that I've been running a grocery businesses for about 30 years. Yes, we will integrate a worker component. To start out this business, I would like to make sure that it's foundationally set first before incorporating other programming. But yes, that is 100% coming. The other piece is our fee is just a one-time fee. There's not a yearly fee. And the reason why we do that is the affordability reason. We want to make this affordable for everyone. What I will say is, if our community so desires to expand or add additional businesses, as member owners, we would prompt you to have that discussion, and there may be possibly more fees assessed, but that's way down the line here. At the current moment, we're at a one-time $100 fee.
Orlando.
Good morning. I'm Orlando Gilmore with App University, the Impact Navigator. I would just like to say thank you. I'm a proud member owner, right, of the Three Sisters Market, and all my aunties. I got their membership as well. West Boulevard is the vein to the heart of the city, but it's also the gateway to the world. And that corridor, as you look at it, when me and my grandma was growing up, we only had lanes. And Lane was dirty, and we would never go there. We would go to the farmer's market way on Wilkinson, or we would go on South Boulevard. And so the strain of mental, trying to get to a grocery store, you all are gonna help mental health. You all are gonna help the health of the youth, right? But my question is, what does the community want? What's that first priority that you all are gonna help with the community? And second of all, what is the biggest need as we're looking at data? And I'm on a data-driven mission right now because data matters about our community. What do the small businesses need? Is that workforce development? Because it has to be more than funding. And what can be sustainable? Because when we build this Westside campus in our data district, it has to be replicable. And so how can we sustain that? What are you doing to maintain that integrity? Thank you.
I'm just gonna start off, but I'll let you. So, I've been doing these projects over the last 10 or so years, and you have to get down to the root cause. The root cause, and I think what we're all working for is the empowerment piece of our community, the education and the understanding of how we sustain and we be resilient. I think that there is a learning curve, and I think that that's what we're butting up against at the current moment. Teaching folks how to be powerful. It's a big thing and it's real. The reason why our communities are in the situation that they're in right now is because unfortunately we've not gotten that lesson yet. And so what you hear right now is the continued fight for empowerment and showing how community actually becomes community. And that's what you're seeing here.
Yeah, we need to pay more attention to how decisions are being made and where decisions are being made for us. And I think that when you asked about what our community's most pressing need to survive, right? You know, food is a social determinant of health, violence, you know, right? You know, if you're without, you are forced to make difficult decisions that may harm your neighbor or harm yourself and things like that. So this all comes down to wages, right? Your house is unstable because of your wages. Your health may be unstable because of your wages. Your food insecure because of your wages, right? All these, we get so excited. All these companies are coming to Charlotte. They bring in all these jobs. Who's done the last data report about how many locals they hired, right? How many of those positions are entry level? Where is your learn to earn opportunities? How are we tapping into this untapped talent that already exists here that may not have the skills for the six-figure job, but they deserve it because they are a West Charlotte graduate and they taxes been coming back to this city all their life. But that job opportunity, they're looked over for it, right? So I think we have to really get down to the root is, of all things, is money and your ability to have life stability, right? So we need to stop looking at people like they are the reason for their circumstances and realizing us as a society are the reason for their circumstances.
Preach.
And from a merchant association perspective, we need to teach people to not only be business owners, but how to own a business. If you're trained in, you know, one of the businesses I'm working with, she does t-shirt printing, and she does it well, but she didn't receive training in how to own a business. So that is one of the things, one of our top priority is to make sure that our business owners are well-rounded businessmen and women.
Rashida, I just want to share this. As a resident and as a senior citizen living in that community, we just want to be able to stay. So I think what the residents want to know, are we going to be able to stay in place? So if we're going to do anything, as I tell you guys here today, is that we've got to think beyond what we're thinking now. And what we have not done, if we have not put infrastructure in place for the people to be able to stay. So I would just like to say to you, help us to stay in place. Can we just do that? And that'll be a great community benefit.
All right, as someone that's heavily involved in business development, I had a different question, but you said something that sparked it. So, what are your plans and what areas are you in need of when it comes to business development to help businesses learn how to prepare themselves and grow themselves and enhance themselves from a place of capacity to be ready to do business, not only business to business, business to consumer, business to government, etc.?
So one of the major things, and I want to thank Ms. Campbell, again, as a new organization, Our board is made up of business professionals. So we're also coming from a standpoint of what we think small businesses might need. But the other part of that is reaching out to find out exactly what the small businesses in our corridor, what they need. So I heard you loud and clear. With that, we need to, as a business as an organization that's just starting out, we need to hear what the people are saying to find out what it is that they need. So we'll couple that with, we have a lot of professionals with diverse expertise to kind of help the businesses, but also we need to find out what it is that the businesses need. I forgot your whole question. Did I answer your question? Probably not. Could you repeat it? Okay. You sure? Okay. Thank you.
Can I share your question again as a small business and been in business for 33 years and trying to help build the child care industry in the state of North Carolina? What we need is resources, right? And the resources need to come to the community. We don't need to go out to get the resources. So I think if any business people that are out here need to come to the corridor, need to come to the West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition and say, hey, I want to offer you, show you how to run a printing machine, right? And to me, is that the resources, we don't have the resources, they're not there. Just what the lady just said about, she had the printing, but she didn't know how to run the machine, right? Or she didn't know how to have some great CPA to tell her how to think outside the box. So, resources, thank you.
Oh, last thing, I just thought about one last thing. You have to know what's coming and what areas are needed. So one of the things that there has been studies of where Charlotte lacks as far as construction, different areas, and providing training for the younger generation to make sure they're proficient in those areas of need.
Sabrina.
Okay. Hi. Okay. I do have two questions too for the whole organization and then for the youth. So to echo some of the sentiments that's already been said, I do think you all are the blueprint for community organizing. What advice would you give to other neighborhood organizations trying to build momentum, and what would meaningful solidarity across coalitions look like? And then for the youth, you all did a great job of describing kind of the things that y'all do, the Seeds for a Change program, but for those that may not know, what exactly is the Seeds for Change program?
I'll let y'all go first.
The Seeds for Change program for us is an opportunity to know what we're doing and what we need to learn when we outside. For instance, learning how to grow things, learning how to keep it healthy, keep it fresh, getting to know people. But most importantly, the Seeds for Change program to me is a place that I can feel home to. And I know I keep saying that everything about connections and opportunities, but that's a really big thing for me, especially because I'm going to my 12th grade year at West Charlotte High School. Right. Especially, especially living on Betty's Ford, you don't get as many opportunities as people who live in better parts of the city do. But pretending that's home, and then I get opportunities, but I like to put myself out there. So Seeds for Change is definitely a home for me.
To me, Seeds for Change, it's a great learning opportunity. It's a great learning opportunity. Came in ninth grade, I'm going into my 12th grade year, and I've learned a lot, honestly. Met a lot of people, and yeah.
It's an 8-week program that the youth work 4 days a week. They grow produce, they harvest it, and then they run their own farmers market stand. We take applications every spring, and we pay them $12 an hour and teach them our version of urban agro business. They learn leadership skills, they make their own prices, and they have to speak to everybody. So we're just there for supervision, so they're running their own business. Your question about coalition building. One, my advice would be patience. I think we've talked about resilience a lot here. Self-help. I think you mentioned solidarity. I think that we can see other people's success may not be yours, and the road to success is paid based off your own timeline. I think we can't shield and be gatekeepers to information. I think that just gives us another crabs in the bucket mentality. Whereas what's working for me off of West Boulevard may not work for Beatty'sford Road, but that doesn't mean that I don't share with Beatty'sford Road, and I don't share with Lakeview, and I don't share with Charlotte East. We have to trust in the process that what's meant for us will come for us. So I think that we have to be transparent with each other, but I also think that that is a cause of changing the landscape. I think philanthropy points us against each other versus towards each other. And if our grantors were more intentional about their own solidarity, we'd have more solidarity.
Can I share this with you? Been here the whole time, the West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition and the Clinton Park community as organizing. You have to be patient. It's time consuming, right? You have to stick to the mission. That mission creep is real out there, right? So if you stick to the mission, and what you see here today is that Ricky Hall and Brenda Campbell and Beverly Clark built a succession plan. We have the succession plan. See, because that down there is the future. I don't know which one of them may have to give me a glass of water, but I want them to remember Brenda Campbell. You understand that? So whatever we're doing in all these communities, north, south, east, and west, you have the succession plan, and you have to build your 12 disciples. And that's what we have to do.
All right, we have a lot of questions, y'all. Bring it back a little. We have MJ, Ms. Donnell, Danielle, then Robert.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. First of all, let me just say thank you. Thank you all for serving. And as I sit here and listen to you all before I go to my question, there's a passage that says, let us not grow weary in well doing. For due season, we shall reap if we faint not. So thank you. Stay the course. I have a question as relates to the community and continue to move this project forward and this mission forward. As it relates to the faith community on West Boulevard, have you all tapped into the faith community, into our churches that came in and had an opportunity to speak about how we can invest into moving this mission forward?
So, yes, we have tapped. We do need you all support as well. We are what you see, and so help being able to enter the invitation. I'm happy. I'm a church girl. I'm happy to come to church and talk about what we've got going on, but more importantly, I think that this is a faith-based mission. I think that we do need to be in churches, because without God, none of us would be sitting here. I think that God is working a big wonder on West Boulevard, and that's what you're hearing right now. And I think that all of the faith-based communities need to be involved with what's going on, supporting and also sustaining, because I think that the alignment between the two are 100% there. And so what I would ask is, talk to me, talk to our exec, invite us to church. We'll come happily. We do have representation of churches on our boards, and we do speak frequently at churches, Greater Mount Sinai, Progressive Baptist Church. Ms. Brenda Kendall is part of New Hope Baptist Church. St. Mark's, St. Paul. We can go on and on, but we do have partnership. But again, it does not need to stop there. So I'm happy to come out anytime.
MJ.
Good morning, and thank y'all for being here. My name is Mary Jane Watkins. I'm a recent graduate of UNC Chapel Hill and an incoming student at the New York University School of Law. Thank y'all. So with that being said, Charlotte will always be my home, no matter where I am in the world. And my question was about the teaching kitchen. It was just mentioned very, very briefly, but I'm curious as to how that will operate, who will be able to utilize that space, and also what does youth involvement look like in that program?
Yeah, so the teaching kitchen there it will be there as a resource. West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition will be in control of the teaching kitchen and also the work hub. Happy to have we're entertaining all ideas at this current moment. If you want to get involved, please just reach out. We're happy to talk through that with you.
Yeah, so like West Boulevard Neighborhood Coalition is the nonprofit developer. We're building the store, and Three Sisters Market will be our tenant in there. So those 2 additional spaces, the community rooms, that's teaching kitchen, is us resolving that there's not enough community space to gather in West Boulevard outside of these churches who have been flagships. We have rec centers and we have the Y. But there is so much programming that sometimes their calendars are booked up. So we wanted to offer something at a good, affordable rate for programming. We also know that we can't just bring produce to anybody and assume that you know how to eat it. So part of that, that's what research is so interesting. That's why we have to have a teaching kitchen. There's opportunities for us to have grandmas teaching canning classes in the teaching kitchen, right? Are you willing or interested in making your own baby food, right? How do we repurpose some of the things just from our farm, or how do we just stretch and make value-added products? We need to get back to, as Janika will say, our roots, right? We used to do this all ourselves, right? Our roots, right? You know, we can make our own food and know where exactly everything is coming from. So we're excited about programming there, and also intend to work with some of our healthcare institutions and other food service institutions around the corridor for those programming. The other thing with that co-working hub is that we want to preserve the businesses that we have. If there's over 700 businesses, where are they meeting? Where are they at? How do we upscale them in terms of professionalism? So they should be able to rent this conference room, come in and print, use a hub. They should have think tanks. We shouldn't just have these places, you know, the Belmonts and all the other places in Charlotte. We need to preserve our own small businesses so like Ms. Brenda said, our succession could be in place.
The holistic ideal of this is, again, this is not just a grocery store, but as I mentioned before, incubating small businesses. That community room could be for several different things. We just want a space open and available for us.
All right, Mr. Robert Hill.
I'll yell.
I'm
particularly interested in your.
Donnell has the microphone.
Donnell, then I will walk over to her.
No, Ms. Donnell. Ms. Donnell. Ms. Donnell, okay. That was okay, Mr. Robert.
My name is Darnell Ivory. Your model is certainly a very successful model. I've heard about it. And I have a niece that lives off Clanton Road, and she lives in Detroit, but I'm gonna ask her to join, and I'll join on her behalf as well. But I just wanted to ask the question with your model. I know you know that Historic West End Partners is working on food co-op also, and I think Mr. Hall has visited that Weaver Street model. Are you in affiliation with them, helping them with the model? Because there's this food co-op with affordable housing, along with that Roswell's Ferry, Batesford Road, 5th Street and area.
So we as cooperatives, we have listed in our principles, it's called P6. It's cooperation amidst cooperatives. And that's the ways that we work together. Every cooperative is a single standing entity. And so there's no partnership, no connectivity between the two. What I would like to point all of our attention to is Beatties Ford and West Boulevard is all part of one corridor. And the fact that it has been proven that we need 2, there's a bigger issue than us having 2. Because food cooperatives, again, we're talking about food deserts. So if the feasibility plan shows that we need 2 in this one corridor, the issue is not the 2 co-ops. I would actually like to take my hands off to both of those co-ops and celebrate both of those co-ops because they're providing solutions. And so I hope I answered your question. We're not tied together, but we should work together as always. But again, the attention should be on the fact that we need 2 co-ops in one corridor.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. I was just trying to make your job easy. My name is Robert Hillman. I'm particularly interested in I love the program and its integration across generations. And so I'm particularly interested in, from the younger folks on the panel, how has this program inspired you to kind of dig deeper into your studies, either whether it's math, business math, or science of biology or things of that nature?
I plan to study psychology when I get to college. I've always been big on trying to learn people and the minds of people. But working with Seeds for Change has definitely made me want to learn more about people, because what made you take the time out of your day to go and make this for the community, for the people? I want to know, like, why y'all did this. And it's great, like, it's great to me. So I want to know the behind the scenes of why, I guess.
The career that I'm interested in is architecture. That's what I want to major in college. And when I got into Teach for Change, we use this thing called Farm Bright online, and I get to see like the different farm plots that we have. And so, how that taps into architecture is like.
Yeah, you know what you talking about too. You got this. Okay. You know you talking about the layout.
Yeah, we have a layout online, so I get to move the boxes, and when we rotate our crops, I get to just.
Just talk. You got it.
I get to edit the online. You understand? We organize our crops online, and I get to tap more into that.
We've been talking about like landscape architecture, because she has she's already looking at how the intentionality of what we're growing with our vegetables. And then we also been talking about her looking at the actual structure of Three Sisters in terms of architecture. And mental health and psychology is directly associated with agriculture too. We talk about putting our hands in the dirt, and we know that knowing where your food comes from actually expands your opportunity to eat it. So when they both were talking about what they were interested in, we just started talking about how that's directly a part of what they've been exposed to. And we have other young people who are interested in different versions of entrepreneurship. We've been talking about how music can be involved in the farm, like just really taking their passions and showing them how this farm can be a conduit to that as an education opportunity.
All right, last question of the day, Ms. Danielle, go ahead.
Thank you so much. First, the dichotomy that you made about philanthropy was sobering, very, very much so. Thank you for saying that. I need you to say it again for the people in the back, across the street, across the highway, all the things.
I say it to them too.
Thank you. I know you do. My question is this, and this question is more so for partnership. How can I collaborate? How can I help serve? How can I come alongside? So if our goal is helping businesses stay in place, our people stay in place, then access has to be more about money, and we know that. It has to be about information, access to procurement, opportunities, technical assistance, mentors, consumers, decision makers, all the things. How can we make, or how can I, again, come alongside of you to help make those connections intentional, so that business owners don't feel like they're navigating a fragmented system on their own?
Yes, so all of what you said, that's part of what the mission for the Merchant Association is. How you can help is that you offer your time, your talents. If there's an area of expertise that you have that you like to offer to another business owner, we would be happy to plug you in. If there are connections that you have that you would like to share, introduction making, we would appreciate that, because we're all in this together and as a cooperative. So I'd be happy to speak to you after this to get your information, because I'm sure we can work together to, because we all have one common goal.
Yeah, you all can start by the QR. There's some flyers from 5x7s in the back. There's a QR code that will put you to, you can sign up to be a part of our newsletter for opportunities. Service comes in all different forms. Service is just sharing with somebody else that we exist, right? That Three Sisters is coming. The youth program, somebody's going to York Mart or another farmer's market. Tell them to come see our kids at Seeds for Change. Word of mouth is the biggest service. We need to speak more highly of each other and make sure that we talk about all of our other initiatives, because we don't know who might need something. In addition to that, there's bird service and volunteer opportunities that we always have in place too, where start volunteering and see if board service is important to us. There's so many skills that we're always looking forward to. So come take a seat at our table. Our table is open for everybody. Oh, and another thing. So this program has been going on for 10 years. So this is the 10th year of the Seeds for Change program. was really cute because 10 years ago, Wells Fargo supported this program, getting it off the ground, and then in April, you might have heard that Wells Fargo contributed $1.5 million to our Three Sisters program. So I think that is some proof of the resilience, that it takes all of us, and that we all need to go together long, strong, and we'll be successful. So service and multitude. So please come up to any of us to talk about how y'all can get involved. We appreciate y'all time today, truly.
All right, thank you. Everyone give them a round of applause once again.